YouTube land, this is Phoenix Dingo. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so I wanted to take some time to talk about Michael Knowles from Fox. I don't know if any of you seen it, but there was an interview, and he was talking about Greta Thunberg. Thornburg, I never get her name right. This is the girl who started an international protest when it came down to climate change. She started by skipping school on Fridays to sit in front of the Swedish parliament, and so that she could make her voice heard when it comes to climate change. Because she started learning about climate change and seeing all kinds of different effects of it. Animals that were that were being, killed with pollution and whatnot, just all kinds of stuff. And I guess it affected her mentally. She went through a depression. She stopped speaking. She stopped eating, and she ended up getting diagnosed with, I believe it was Asperger's. She had a couple different diagnoses, but yes, she got diagnosed. But she decided through all that, she was going to handle it by doing something about it. So she started a protest, which ended up sparking a worldwide protest on climate change and inspiring all the young kids to do a sanctioned school skip day where they all protested in the streets for political leaders to do something about climate. Because at the end of the day, this is what they're inheriting from us, is a damaged world and crazy amounts of change that'll happen within the next 30 to 50 years if we don't attack it now. So she gave a speech the other day, and it was a brilliant speech. It was very direct, straight to the point. She pulled no punches. It was very intense, and I loved it. She said it exactly how dare you? She's like, we will never forgive you. You guys have messed up, and she's correct. We have. Um, we failed them. So, anyways, Michael Knowles gets on Fox and decides that he wants to undercut everything by saying, and this is a quote from him: if it were about science, it would have been led by scientists rather than politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who was being exploited by her parents and the left. Okay. Um, Now, yes, he is correct. She is mentally. She has her own individual situations. Um, I don't like talking about things like that. In a sense that it's a handicap, because I mean everyone's got a different state of being. I myself am bipolar and I have ADHD. Um, I Yeah, anyways, that's a whole nother video entirely. But basically, he's trying to discredit her and what she's saying by saying she's mentally ill, one. And two, well, even if she has every right, no matter what, to speak on her world and her future. It was repulsive. Now, I love the fact that Christopher Hahn, he went in on him. He told him he was despicable and demanded that he apologize, which I definitely condone. But the reason this irritates me so much is because this is exactly what's going on. Um, well, one, scientists have been saying this for a very long time. It's been like 30 years since I've been in elementary school, and people were talking about it way back then about global warming and all this. It's nothing new. And it took this girl having the courage to stand up during crippling depression, which I know what that's like. It's horrible. And she, through all that, got up and made a statement and did something and sparked a worldwide revolution for a protest for this issue. And through all that, you just want to discredit her because she's mentally ill and say that people are taking advantage of her instead of focusing on what needs to be done. See, this is one of the things that irritates me about government in general. Stuff like this. You can make a big fuss, make a big stink, everybody comes together, and then they'll simply just discredit it or toss it aside due to a stupid justification. It's just, it's ridiculous. And for you to sit there and talk about a girl like that, it's just, to borrow his words, it's despicable. Um, it's very frustrating to see how people maneuver in this world. Instead of seeing a problem and trying to work on it and fix it, you'd rather just sit here and, like, there's so much more constructive things that you could be doing. And this is just with a commentator. This isn't even like people in the government, but yet they seem to have the same reaction, because what gets done? What gets done? There's an excellent TED Talks that she did, and she was speaking about the different things that would have to be done, and for things to be okay, and it would still be unsatisfactory. But the fact is, we've had the power to be able to do something about this for 20 years, 20 plus. And here we are again, when we're looking at dire consequences that could happen in our future, and it's sitting here, and it takes a child to start all this because the adults are too busy trying to survive. I'm convinced that's one reason why they don't want to pay more or give a UBI, is because the more distracted we are with trying to pay our bills, the less we have time to really consider all these other things that's going on. That's why it's so important that young people get to vote, in my personal opinion. Um, they're the ones who have a clearer mind. They're able to think more, in my opinion, when it comes about these things, because they're passionate about it. But when you get older and you have responsibility and you have people that depend on you, everything kind of starts taking a back burner to that job, to trying to find out how you're going to pay these bills, to picking up an extra job or a side hustle to be able to make more money, just to be able to make things work, to calling places to try and juggle your bills. I could keep going on and on and on, but it's so easy to get caught up in just surviving day to day, that things like climate change, you just don't tend to think about it. I know I don't. I mean, I've been working on trying to work on my own imprint by making sure that I'm recycling now, and I started a garden. I'm planting trees. I'm doing what I can, but I don't have time to go out and, correction, I do have time to go out and protest, but have I honestly thought about it? And being real, I didn't. I haven't. I've been too concerned about trying to figure out how we're going to pay these bills or juggle these bills. I'm preoccupied. And so it kind of takes a side seat. And I think that's the important aspect of the youth vote, is these things that matter so much to them, because they have more time and they're not jaded by life yet, to consider the importance of these things. And yes, we do consider it, but how much does it impact our daily life? And how much do we change in our daily life for these causes? And so I again commend Greta. I condemn Michael Knowles, and Christopher Hahn, you are my hero for going in on this man. Anyways, sorry about the angry rant, but it's just something that needed to be said. It's something to say when you have a child who has to come and scold adults for not doing what they're supposed to do, especially being the fact that the repercussions is going to fall directly on the child and their descendants, their children. And I mean, that's what these kids are looking at. I don't even know what they're being taught in school when it comes down to this, because it was when they were teaching me 30 years ago, it was kind of like, ooh, watch out for this and acid rain. It's going to get worse and worse by the year 2020. I remember the year 2020. I don't remember exactly what they said was going to happen, but I remember I was a little scared about 2020. But then I was like, that's such a long ways away. Well, we're here. So imagine what these kids are learning right now in school, because this is the state we're at right now. And imagine the warnings they're getting about, 2040, 2050, 2060. No wonder these kids are scared. No wonder they're going stinking crazy, and no wonder they're acting nuts. Chances are, They could have a mentality like, shoot, we're not even gonna make it for another 50 years. The the world's doomed. Why bother? Might as well do whatever the hell I want to. It's disgusting. So, anyways, through the eyes of a child, sometimes we can see the light. So hopefully people will pay attention, and hopefully people like Michael Knowles will think about what he says before he gets on, because he has made a ass out of himself on national TV, and shame on him. Y'all have a great day. Bye.